Hello, hello. Okay. Huh. Sorry, just need to test a couple things really quick, and then we'll get this going. All right. Yeah, sorry for the delay on that. Just trying to get my microphone and everything situated. I was streaming somewhere else pretty recently, and so just had to iron out some things. Let's see. I'm going to see if there are any questions at this point. Oh, cool. There are some questions. Let's take a look at these. So there's a question in the code cell below. Complete the following. All right. Yeah, let's start here. There's also somebody reached out to me earlier and asked me to go through some materials that are in a Jupyter notebook I put together as prep materials for the technical interview. So I'll start here. I'll start with the question that I'm seeing in the Slack thread, and then I'll move over to kind of walking through this notebook that I think might be interesting to people. Yeah, there's some problems in there. TI related materials for sure. I'll definitely get to those, and we'll look at those in probably like 5 minutes or so. So the first place where we're looking. Oh, and sorry if you're hearing a bit of a whirring sound. That's the fans from my computer. For whatever reason, my computer is, I don't know, it's running kind of hot right now. I'm not totally sure why. But, oh, you know what? I think I do know why. 1 second. Okay, that might help. Yeah, so sorry for that whirring sound. It'll probably die down in a little bit. And in the meantime, let's see. This is in the code cell below, complete the following. Yep, here. It looks like it's this one, the sort and reverse challenge. In the code cell below, complete the following. Did I already do this? No. Okay. Sort the list stored in random list. Okay. And save it in a variable called sorted list. Reverse the list stored in backwards list. And okay. I'm just going to snag all of this. And, this kind of gets into that whole workflow thing, whatever you're working with, on the right. And having on the left, sorry, I think my mic's a bit hot here. Just turning it down a little. Let's see, is that, okay, that looks a little bit better. I like to have on the right my code editor and a terminal down here, but of course if you're using VS Code, sorry, not VS Code, if you're using Replit, you could do the same thing where you have your REPL on the side and just move the terminal down to the bottom, or not. And then if I'm working through some materials, I'll have it on the left. You could do the same thing with a Jupyter notebook on the right and the learn materials on the left. Either way works pretty well. So I'm just going to take the starter code from here. I'm going to put below where it says write code below. That's right here, random list, and save it in a variable called sorted list. Okay. So this is going to be called sorted list. It's going to get random list, right? And it's going to be the sorted version of random list. So that's easy enough. Reverse the list stored in backwards list. Okay, that's going to be backwards list. And stored in a variable called forward list. So forward list is going to get reversed of backwards list. Backwards list has, oh, there's a little error right here. It's backwards LST. Something to keep in mind, reversed, this reversed function right here, this is going to return a reversed iterator object. It's not going to actually return a of backwards list. And then sort and then reverse the list stored in all scrambled up. Okay, so in all scrambled up, we're going to sort this and then reverse it. And now we could, you know, this is what we've taught you. So sorted, I'm going to store that in a variable called unscrambled, like so. All right, so this is what we're doing, and I'm just going to copy all of that. If I want to see the outcome of this, you know, sure enough, I could go ahead and do that. So print forward list, and then print unscrambled. The thing is, I don't have values for these as yet, right? Because oh no, I totally do. I'm sorry, I totally have values up here. All right, so let's go ahead and run this python delme.py. And I get some output here. You know, it's kind of hard to read this because look at how many numbers there actually are. If I'm getting my output isn't very helpful, but even still, I kind of have this step-by-step approach right here. So why don't I just copy and paste all of this in below where it says write code below. Let's run this and see if that does what we expect it to do. Yeah, so that looks like it worked. It looks like the code provided here is exactly the same as what I just wrote above. There's nothing, you know, nothing different about this, nothing variant in this case. So hope that's helpful. Let me know if you have any further questions on that problem. Okay, so the thing that the technical interview related stuff that that I'm going to pull up here is something. It's a notebook that I compiled for a premium prep class a few weeks ago. So let me see if I can track it down. Yeah, I think this is good. So this notebook, I'll drop a link to the notebook in the thread, the solutions beforehand, and I think what we're going to do is create a Google Colab instead. And that way I can paste in some of these problems. Yeah. Okay, to give me the opportunity to create a new notebook right here. And we're just going to work in here for right now. And I'll call this, let's say, just call this exploring enumerate for I'm just gonna call this a processing function. I think that's fine, and I'll go ahead and also share this. I'll try to make this public so that I can just share it as it is. And I'll just say anyone with the link can view it. And then if you want to make copies of this, if you want to make copies of this, you can just open up the notebook. I'll bring it back in. Here we go. Oops, sorry, one sec. Let me exit out of there. Yeah, you can just take that link that I dropped in the Slack thread, and you should be able to go. There should be something that says open in playground or something to that effect. Okay, so I'm misplaced it. There we go. Okay. All right, so we're going to consider a random variable a. I'm going to make a text box here, bigger. Avoid being too time consuming about one other thing in order to do that. A problem I kind of invented here, and why don't we just take a look at that? Okay, so consider a random variable a. A is the result of 6 dice rolls processed according to this algorithm, where we take what is the probability that a is less than or equal to 5, what is the probability that a is greater than 10. And so there's a couple ways that we can go about this. We're going to take a brute force approach, which is not always ideal, but is helpful in this situation. And if you've seen this kind of problem before, right, a is the result of 6 dice rolls. Well, if we're trying to figure out the entire the entire sample space of a is, say, well, we could do this by hand, which we're not going to do, but we could say, well, we can start at 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, so this is a single 6-sided die. Sorry, this is 6 6-sided die. We roll them, we get all ones. Now, we can think of it as where the order actually does matter, right? The order of these. And the reason being that, we can have this possibility here where we have, let me make sure my face isn't covering this. Oh, no, that's good. Okay, we can have all ones and then a 2. Or we could have 2 and then we only have 1. If you're thinking about this, we can, if we had a 10-sided die, this would be fairly easy to think about, and we could count all the numbers from 6 zeros to 6 nines, right? We can actually count this using for loops. And what I'll do here is I'm going to make something called dice rolls. Let's just call it dice rolls. And it's going to be an empty list, and I'm going to say for roll 1 in range, and we're going to go from 1 to 6 sides, right? 1 to 6 plus 1, 1 to 7. You can write that however you want. And we're going to do this 6 times. Now, since we're building, so the R that's going to change, the roll that's going to change the most is this roll 6 on the furthest inner loop. And I need to change these 4, 3, 2, and 1. Roll 1 is going to be our leftmost position in the list that results, right? In this list, like if it's furthest outside, right? That's this 0 index is going to be roll 1. Okay. And we can just pack this in R4, R5, and R6. So, and where each roll is multiplied, we need to translate this. And what I'm going to call this, I'll just call this the same thing. I'll just call it roll math. This is actually what it's called from here, right? It'll be, let's say, this list, R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, R6. It could be all 1s, it could be all 2s, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It could be any of those, and many, many more, right? Oh, it sounds like there's some technical issues happening where people are getting frozen video every few seconds. I'm gonna put a little bit of latency on this feed really quick, and let's see if that gets corrected. Sorry about that. This sort of thing can happen sometimes. I think I'm experiencing. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream, and I'll just pick it up in a second. Give me 1 second.